All right, well, good morning to everyone and welcome to the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office building. We are thrilled to be here today. On behalf of our Director, Buddy Lewis, and Commissioner Jeff Long, we're excited to announce to you some things that we've got going on in Hamilton County that I think the citizens are truly going to see that we really are working hard to help them out here on our roads. My name is Steve Dillard. I'm the Senior Law Enforcement Liaison for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. The purpose of today's event is to announce the recent development of the Hamilton County Traffic Task Force to reduce traffic crashes and factors and fatalities in Hamilton County. The task force was established earlier this year. We held our first meeting in January to look at ways to help our community, to involve all the law enforcement agencies that fall within Hamilton County, and to look at ways to combat dangerous driving behavior. Because we know a lot of the issues we're seeing out here on our highways is risky behavior. And we're really wanting to bring attention to our drivers for them to understand that we are serious about making Hamilton County a safe place for people to drive through. I'm excited to announce that all the agencies that are participating with this traffic task force will include the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, the Chattanooga Police Department, the East Ridge Police Department, Collegedale Police Department, Lookout Mountain Police Department, Signal Mountain Police Department, Red Bank Police Department, Chattanooga Department of Transportation, and the Tennessee Department of Transportation, and the support of Erlanger Health Systems and our office, the Highway Safety Office. We got some good things to tell you about today. So I want to thank all of our partners. It's a good show, as you can tell back here, that are attending. And we appreciate all the speakers who will speak before you as well to discuss upcoming enforcement efforts that their departments are going to be involved in. The number one goal that I hope you take away from today is we are committed to saving lives in Hamilton County, as well as saving lives in the state of Tennessee. But I'm very, very excited that we've had this started.
The Tennessee Highway Patrol is proud to partner with the departments represented here today for this important campaign. Every day, law enforcement personnel in Hamilton County and in Tennessee attempt to address the plague of injury and fatal crashes through education and enforcement. Even with these efforts, citizens are still being injured and killed in crashes at an alarming rate. The main contributing factors to these injury and fatal crashes continue to be operators driving distracted, impaired, or choosing to drive at unsafe speeds and not using restraint devices. Crashes caused by these factors are 100% preventable by making the right choices while operating a motor vehicle. All law enforcement agencies hope that the public will recognize the toll that these poor decisions take on our community and our state. And we ask for voluntary compliance with Tennessee state laws or traffic laws. Anyone who still chooses to violate the law can and will be stopped by law enforcement and educated roadside on the dangers of their choices. This task force is another effort to bring awareness to these serious issues and hopefully save lives. At the end of the day, we want you to arrive at your destination safely. We are committed to doing our part to ensure your safety, but we need the public's help. If you observe unsafe driving behavior, we want you to report it, and you can do so by dialing star THP. We want to thank you for your time, and please be careful.
I'm Sheriff Austin Garrett, and I think it's important for me and my role to highlight the partnership that's countywide that you see here today. You see most every agency within Hamilton County standing here with us in this commitment to reduce crashes and save lives. There's one partner that's not here present with us, and that's the public that we serve. And we cannot accomplish our goals without you on board with us. Now, just driving over here this morning from my jail to the location we're at now off of Bonnie Oaks Drive, I witnessed 3 very serious traffic violations. Conducted 1 traffic stop myself for falling too close to my vehicle. I witnessed a lady cut a dump truck off that was very narrowly missed being a collision and could have cost her life. Just before I pulled in here, I witnessed a truck passing on a double yellow line in a turn lane. These are not isolated incidents that happen just in the rural areas of Hamilton County, within the municipality of Chattanooga, or Collegedale or East Ridge. These are issues that impact every one of us. And they endanger our lives and endanger our family members' lives and our friends. We're asking the public to join this task force as the most important partner we have. You're more important than anyone standing here behind me for this purpose. It takes you working with us, working with your children who are learning to drive, and your family members that live in and around your household. You'll always hear me say that the sheriff's office and the agencies in this county prefer to reach you by education. And if we can't reach you by education, you rest assured we're going to reach you through enforcement.
Chattanooga Police Department is proud to be participating with all agencies in Hamilton County to be part of this traffic enforcement effort. We're fully committed to this initiative, and we firmly believe that education and enforcement must go hand in hand when it comes to improving driver behavior and saving lives. Leading CPD's efforts is our dedicated traffic unit, many of whom are here with us today. This team focuses on enforcing traffic laws, investigating collisions, especially the more serious ones, and promoting roadway safety through education and outreach campaigns. The Chattanooga Police Department uses multiple methods. Talk a little bit about the how. How are we going to do this? And this is not just the CPD, but countywide. We're going to start with data. We're going to utilize our Crime and Intelligence Analysis Unit to provide a day a week, time a day on when our serious crashes occur so that we'll know where we need to be and when. We'll be using this to ensure that we have the greatest impact on driver behavior. These efforts are producing results. Between 2023 and 2024, Chattanooga saw a 24% decrease in total crashes. That is all crashes. We saw also a more than half reduction of fatal crashes, which is phenomenal. During the same time period, a pedestrian struck also has dropped by 55% when comparing 2024 to 2025. Looking ahead, we're also excited to launch some new initiatives to address pedestrian safety, especially within our school zones, by the implementation of school zone speed traffic cameras. These cameras are intended to help slow down drivers in areas where children and families are walking to school on a daily basis. We anticipate having approximately 10 in place by the start of the next school year. I'd be remiss if I did not mention the education and enforcement of the hands-free laws. We just participated in THSO's statewide distracted driving education event a couple of weeks ago. And on the enforcement end, CPD has issued 44% more citations for hands-free distracted driving violations this year when compared to last year. Finally, I want to end with an incredibly simple but incredibly important reminder. Wear your seatbelts, please. Just last week, THSO representative shared with our team in over 90% of crashes, people are actually wearing their seatbelts, which is fantastic. However, when we look at the fatal crashes, a significant number of victims in fatal crashes are not wearing their seatbelts. Please let that sink in. The simple act of putting your seatbelt on before you start driving can save your life and the life of someone else.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today on behalf of Erlanger. We're proud to join the Pedestrian Task Force, a group dedicated to keeping our streets safe. This isn't just a matter of policy or changes, it's about protecting our families and our friends and our neighbors. Pedestrian injuries can change lives in ways that no one will ever expect, and we want to make sure that everyone understands the real risks involved and the gravity of these injuries. At Erlanger, being the region's only Level 1 trauma center, we get to see daily the harsh reality firsthand. When motor vehicle versus pedestrian accidents occur, the outcomes can be devastating. Last year alone, our trauma team treated 89 patients who were struck by vehicles. That's almost 7 a month. Think about that. That's a lot of people that are affected by this. These aren't just statistics, they represent people from our community who suddenly faced a new, unwanted reality. The injuries can range from minor cuts and bruises to severe cuts, broken bones, traumatic brain injuries, and even life-altering spinal cord and damage that may lead to paralysis or loss of feeling and movement. And let's not forget the internal injuries to vital organs like the liver, spleen, lungs, kidneys, or the lingering psychological effects such as PTSD, anxiety, and depression. The message is clear: life is precious, awareness and caution can save lives. Here are some simple steps we can all take. Drivers, look out for pedestrians. Always stop for pedestrians and crosswalks, and remember, everyone on the road is precious. Be extra cautious. Pay close attention around schools, neighborhoods, and parking lots where people are more likely to be walking. Avoid distraction. As you've heard today, putting away your phone and focusing on the road can be one of the single most things that can help save lives around you. Observe the speed limits. Slow down in areas with high foot traffic. Observe the speed limits in school zones and urban areas. Check your surroundings. Always check your blind spots when turning or backing up. Be cautious of little kids running around. Always make sure that they're standing by the house when you're trying to back out of your driveway before you go to work. And finally, drive sober. Whether it's fatigue or alcohol, anything that slows your reaction time is a risk not worth taking. As trauma season approaches and the weather is nice and people are outside walking, please be aware of all the damages that can be done with your vehicle. Each decision matters. One wrong choice can change not only your life, but also the lives of pedestrians forever. Let's make these smart, everyday choices, stay focused on the road and our surroundings. Together, we can help build a safer community for us all, and let's decrease the number of pedestrian strikes we see at Erlanger. Thank you.
I'm going to give a few closing remarks today. Again, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office and our law enforcement partners remain committed each and every day to the citizens across the state of Tennessee and roadway safety. And roadway safety and traffic safety is included in that, as well as pedestrian safety as well. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office has launched a new program commonly called Crosswalk Talk, where we've went out into the communities and neighborhoods and talked with people and observed things in crosswalks and looking at programs that we can put in place to help assist pedestrians in the crosswalks and keeping them safe at all times. I'd like to quote our director, Buddy Lewis, who says, "Traffic safety is public safety." Traffic safety includes not just pedestrians, but it includes everybody in the general public as well. It also brings us to the sombering fact of numbers. And fatalities on Tennessee roadways are not just numbers. That's lives that have been impacted, that's families that have been impacted, and that's people that won't show up to the next family gathering. We ask for your help and cooperation in making sure that everyone arrives alive each trip every time they get behind the wheel. Simple things that have been addressed today and spoken about can help increase your chances of arriving safely to your next destination. This will conclude our program for today. However, our speakers will stay by and hear from members of the media and press that are present that would like to do any interviews. Immediately following today's press event, we're going to go downtown and conduct some crosswalk talk and check to see if there's any things we can assist in the area with today. I thank you for your participation today, and we appreciate you all being here with us. Thank you.
There are instances where pedestrians aren't using the crosswalk. They're crossing mid-block. They're also distracted. They may be on their phones. At night, we've had a lot of fatalities because they're wearing all dark clothing. So there are many, many situations where the pedestrians are at fault as well. But I am not victim blaming at all. We're trying to keep everybody safe. We got to keep the motorists safe. We have to keep the pedestrians safe. But you think about a crash, even if the pedestrian is correct, the pedestrian is going to lose in a crash. So pedestrians, motorists need to pay attention. Actually, that's what it is. We're talking with them, we're not talking at them. So we're going to have law enforcement with us, and we have some law enforcement liaisons with us. I usually go and we put the data down to see what they're saying. We are legitimately asking them what needs to happen. Now, in some instances, we're going to say, do you use a crosswalk? And they'll say, oh, every time I always use the crosswalk. But there are some times when they say, no, I don't. One has said, I'm just lazy, I'm going to walk across without a crosswalk. Some say there aren't enough crosswalks. Sometimes sidewalks just end. And I live downtown Nashville. I have proof of that. You could just walk, sidewalk ends, you have to cross somewhere. So we're asking the pedestrians what they think the issues are, and then we can take this back. We're recording all the data. We've had crosswalk talks in all of the major cities. This will be our second one in Chattanooga, because we want the information from the pedestrians. We keep looking at the data, but we need to talk to real people. Chattanooga is they have a really good program. They have a lot of crosswalks downtown, so that's a good thing. But like I said, the citizens, the residents are going to say there aren't enough crosswalks, and that's true. They're really far apart. Bus stations sometimes are across the street, and there's not a crosswalk anywhere near those, so they'd have to walk down to the light and then cross at the light. So those situations, so there is infrastructure issues, and like I said, some of them just don't want to walk that far. So we do need more crosswalks, but we have to get that to Tennessee Department of Transportation, in this case, CDOT.
That's a great question and a point to make. The fact that this isn't just about numbers, as Chief Chambers said, the fact this is about people's lives. And there's probably not anyone that's standing behind me that's in law enforcement that has not had to make a death notification to a family member or been with family members when they arrive at a hospital. That's why we're doing this. It's about lives. Everybody behind me has had a family member impacted by this. Some of the people standing behind me has been involved in these crashes due to their profession. And there's no such thing as an accident. That's a terrible way to look at these things. There's a cause to everything that happens. These are crashes. They're not accidents. When we say accident, it kind of diminishes what's going on. So I'm glad you brought that up. But when you have to look a family in the face and tell them that family member is not coming home, we don't want to do that again, ever. We want to avoid that. That's why it takes the public working with us to help us make an impact and that drive to zero.
Death obviously is the worst thing that could absolutely happen to someone. But I was actually not at fault in any way. I was paying attention. I actually was getting ready for a Super Bowl party the night before. I ran to the grocery store to get a few things, and I was struck by a distracted driver. I cannot tell you, it still affects me to this day, but I can't tell you how horrible it is to be struck by a vehicle. Thank goodness it was a low profile car. If it would have been a truck, it probably would have, it could have really done like permanent damage, paralyzed me. It just took out my whole knee, shattered my whole knee. So I have plates and pins all down my leg now. 6 months I was non-weight bearing at all. I could not, I had to sleep on a couch. I could not get up without crutches. I could not do anything that I normally do. Things that you just take for granted. I could not even cook a meal because I'm on crutches. And it's really hard to carry dishes from the sink into the stove. But for 6 months I was non-weight bearing and I had surgery. I am, thank goodness, this was February of 2022. I can walk to this day. I still have problems, but I am blessed to be able to walk. So this affects everybody. It's not, it doesn't select certain groups, certain socioeconomic groups. I've been in law enforcement for almost 40 years. I work for the Highway Safety Office. That doesn't keep me from getting injured, nor does it anybody else in the public. You just never know. But yeah, everybody I'm sure knows somebody that's been struck or has been struck themselves or been in some kind of critical injury accident or serious injury accident. And it does affect you long term. It's not just and the lady that hit me, she didn't even, because there was no blood. I mean, it shattered my whole knee, femur, and my shin bone. She thought, well, there's no blood, must not have hurt her, but I couldn't even stand up. And she left. And she carried on about her life. And I'm the one who carries that with me, even though I was not at fault. So it does affect you long term. It's not just a temporary, oh, I'll heal and I'll be better. It makes you think about everything from then on.